And we're back. What's up, everyone? We're back with Goal Radio with your goal news. Goal news, wow. Soccer news, actually. Anyways, so yeah, we have more, awesome news. There's actually this one news, actually surprising about this one. It's not really a player that many people talk about, but I mean, I guess when you talk about him, it is a discussion to talk about. But Arda Turan, the midfielder from Barcelona, I think he's Turkish, right?
Mm-hmm.
Turkish, yeah. He said that he wants to retire there. He wants to retire at Barcelona, but honestly, from my understanding, he doesn't really get much playing time, and it's just like, why would you want to stay at a club where you don't get much playing time? And I mean, it's Barcelona. Yeah, it's one of the big, top 5 teams in the world. But yeah, I don't know. It's just weird.
It's not. I don't believe that. If you're not gonna get the burn that would be ideal for. I mean, Arda Turan is. I think people would not argue he's the best Turkish player in the world.
Yeah.
And he's a pretty darn good player, but he's not currently making the Barca 11, and I don't think there's gonna be a situation where he starts. If we mention like the front three, if one of the front three is sold, I don't think it's Arda Turan that steps in.
No, not at all.
When Iniesta eventually does retire, it'll probably be a new young guy that would step in. He's currently not going to beat out Busquets, Rakitic, or Iniesta.
Not at all.
He's not beating anybody out in the top 3, that's for damn sure. So it's only going to get worse. Arda Turan's way too good of a player to spend his entire life on Barca's bench.
Yeah.
He won't finish his career there. I guarantee it. I guarantee he won't fix his career
exactly.
there.
And that's what I was saying, how, like, yeah, like I said, it's Barcelona. Like, yeah, you're kind of like, well, how do I put this in a way? You aren't smart if you don't want to stay at a club like Barcelona. But if you're benched at a club like Barcelona or Madrid, whatever, if you're just going to be benched all your career, it's like, why play? Why be at that club if you're not getting any playing time? Yeah, if you get thrown into like the second team, I mean, what?
Arda gets some playing time.
He does.
But Arda is a quality player who
He
can make
a quality player.
Most starting 11s in all of world football. I mean, you can probably name the amount of starting 11s that Turan doesn't make it in. I mean, it's not going to go past double digits. I mean, he's a quality player. He's a strong midfielder, and he has some versatility too. He could play as a right midfielder as well, play as a left midfielder. I just don't understand the thought though that he would spend his entire time there. Listen, if you want to enjoy the success and the riches of being, on a team with all this talent and widely regarded as the best team in world football, I don't blame you.
Yeah.
But homie, eventually you're gonna want to end your career probably back home.
For sure.
A lot of people do, because you'll play there as well and you'll be home. Arda Turan does not want to be 34 sitting on Barca's bench.
No, yeah.
I just don't buy that. I don't buy that.
Neither do I. It's like, even like you said, what I think, it's when you think of midfielders, like you personally want to, like, say you're making a team. Say you want to grab all the best midfielders in the world that you want on your front line, and you can make as many teams as you want, whatever. I don't think many people have Arda Turan on their lineup. Like, there's so many great midfielders out there that are I wouldn't say way better, but like they're more well known. People are gonna definitely want to put the money out there for that one player, like you said, Iniesta, Xavi, Ronaldinho, David Beckham, Rakitic, yeah. Who else? Tony Cruz. What's that other guy on Real?
Thomas?
No. Modric, yes. I don't know who else am I missing. Like, there's so many other great players, like currently that's playing right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's Pogba, like the number one.
I mean, yeah,
dude who just like literally
tons
broke
of
the transfer.
Yeah.
I mean, but yeah, like honestly, like that. I don't know. That was probably almost. Like you could probably name 10 people before you put Arda Turan in that list. So it's like like you said, I don't believe it at all. I don't think it's gonna happen. And if it does, I don't know, man. It just shows the type of person Arda Turan is, honestly. But
I mean, I'm not gonna knock him for staying in Barca. I just don't believe it.
yeah, for sure. But anyways, we'll see what happens there, because honestly, I don't see him staying there longer than probably a year and a half. But anyways, in other Barca news, another transfer news, transfer talk actually. Barcelona actually wants to purchase Dybala from Juventus. Dybala, like young player.
Yeah, it came from Palermo.
Yeah, great player. Argentine, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Currently at Juventus. You know, he's literally killing it out there. Will he ever move to Barcelona? Who knows?
I definitely could see it. I think, obviously they fancy themselves a talented Argentine. Clearly, that's been a good recipe for success for them, and a lot of people, have made the quick comparison between the two players.
Yeah, Messi and Dybala. Yeah,
I think just because they're Argentinian, but Dybala's a very, very good player. I mean, he made the move seamlessly from Palermo to Juventus. I mean, right now you could make the case he is, he's their best player. Yeah. I don't know. The defense, obviously, the back line and then Buffon it's tough, but I mean, Dybala right now is shown at a young age. I think he might be 22. He seems world class, and I mean that fits the Barcelona style right away. The reality is Dybala's a starter. We just mentioned the top three.
Mm-hmm.
No one's beating them out.
Mm-hmm.
So at some point, yeah, I could see Dybala being a member of Barcelona.
Currently, right now, not at all, because you got MSN right there.
I just don't know where. I just don't know
where Barcelona will put him.
I just don't know where. Yeah, because right now he wouldn't fit, and I don't think that would be necessarily a great move for Dybala to make the move and then have bench. To kind of play on the bench. I don't think it would be bad for him to maybe go there and not start right away and play under Messi and play under Suarez and Neymar. Mm-hmm. I think that that's great. But listen, the prime of a soccer player to me is nuts, because sometimes you can be in your prime for 15 years.
Yeah.
Okay. Zlatan is, I want to say he's between ages 34 and 36. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, something like that.
Zlatan's top 5 strikers in the world, no matter what your rankings are.
Zlatan is
no matter what your rankings are. Neymar is 23 or 24.
Yeah, something like that.
He is top, no matter who you are, he's top 10 players the whole world. No matter what. Most people say he's top 3 at that age. You can be any age in soccer and be outstanding. So, for Dybala, right now, you could say that he is in his prime, because the prime for soccer players is forever. It's just you're good and then you stay really great. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah.
So I don't think that he's going to want to, if Suarez is going to end his career there and Neymar just signed till 2021 and Messi's going to end his career there, well, then maybe Dybala's better off at a Real Madrid. If, say, Benzema's moved on or Ronaldo makes the move back, maybe it comes over here and plays in the MLS, or if Gareth Bale is ever brought back to the Premier League. Yeah. So that's a little bit easier to see, but I think Barca makes sense. I just don't necessarily know the when of that move.
No, yeah, for sure. Like you said, the MSN, they're all three of them, 2 say they want to retire there. 1 has a contract extension until 2021. Who knows? They could, I mean, if it's a top player, they're always going to stay there until their contract ends, like, for sure. Like, and even, like, Neymar wanted to be at Barcelona for a fact. He said he wanted to be at Barcelona. So, I don't think any time he's going to be leaving until probably his contract, ends. But, for Dybala, honestly, I think he should just, stay at Juventus, keep building up, himself as a person and as a player. Who knows? Maybe in the near future, he gets that good where he could probably be the next top player that, breaks a transfer fee, just like Pogba, was from Manchester, sold to Juventus because, Manchester, they thought he wasn't good enough. Back at Manchester, and is the number 1 player that is, like, that broke the freaking transfer fee. So it's just insane. So honestly, Dybala, I think should stay at Juventus. But like you said, maybe in the near future, maybe he could be at Real Madrid for sure if one of those players, leave, or he could go to Manchester. I mean, honestly,
and I think too, right, for a lot of these guys, especially when you're at clubs like Real, Barca, Juve, Bayern, PSG. The league almost feels like a formality, right? PSG is going to win Liga, and they've been struggling without Zlatan there, but everything should probably fall right for them. Juve, I mean, they should just be winning Serie A, no problem. Bayern should be winning Bundesliga, no problem. Real, Barca, and, Atletico kind of sneak in there, but it's between those three for the league. Champions League is where you make your name. It is what is now most important because the league feels like a formality.
Right.
I think Juventus actually have a very good shout in Champions League this year. I think they have a legitimate chance. They have a strong midfield. They have one of the world's best backlines. I love the addition of Dani Alves, players like Miralem Pjanic.
Oh, yeah.
And in attack, Dybala is crucial and is one of the most important players on this team for them to be able to threaten teams with their attack because their defense is going to hold strong. So for me, Dybala is going to be in a situation potentially this year where he could be the centerpiece for a team that makes a deep run in Champions League. And that might speed up the process of him leaving because if they miss out, then he may say, you know what, if I was somewhere else, I could get the win. And if a team like Barcelona sees him be amazing in Champions League, then they're going to say, hey, listen, we can't play any games here. We need this kid, and we need him now.
Right.
So it'll be very interesting to see. I think how he and Juve perform in Champions League is extremely important.
For sure. And also, like you said, Dybala, he's like a 22-year-old guy. Like, he's so young right now, and he's, like, considered, Juve's best player. Clearly, when you're young, you're going to have the top performance, top speed, and so on. And yeah, like if you're going up against another team that have like older players on, yeah, they're gonna have more experience and probably be able to read you a lot better. But when it comes to that speed, if Dybala can execute his speed, his fake moves and whatever, totally he'll just run through the defense with no problem.
Yeah.
So who knows? Juventus, honestly, they should probably just keep him, and they probably will keep him for how long? Who knows?
They don't need tons of money. I mean, they brought over Gonzalo Higuain as well, and I think that's a brilliant partnership because we mentioned him going to Barcelona because he can learn under Messi, but right now he can learn under Higuain. Higuain last year was the best player in Serie A.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, he broke the league's goal scoring record. Gonzalo Higuain is a terrific talent. He's another reason and another signing why I seriously think that Juve is being underrated in their ability to challenge for this Champions League trophy. A lot of people are oh, it's Barca, oh, it's Real, maybe Atletico. Can Carlo bring Bayern back? And kind of people I feel like are almost maybe even leaving it in that group of four, right? City had a shout, a lot of people felt, because Pep was there. Well, they just got thrashed 4-0.
Yeah, what was it, the other day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't necessarily think that City have a shout. I don't buy that. I think that it's going to take more time for Pep to get adjusted. I think Pep's focus should be on winning the Premier League title. I just don't think that they're going to be able to contend for the Champions League trophy this year, especially if Kevin De Bruyne's going to be going through injuries and things like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, things went wrong. They ended up getting Bravo sent off when the score was at 1-0. So backup keeper in plus down a man, you're going to concede a lot of goals that way. But for me, I think Juve have a serious shot this year, and I think that and Dybala's performance will dictate how this summer goes for him and what people are saying.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And, when you connect to, Man City right now, just talking about Man City and, we're talking about Serie A with Juventus and Dybala, the next topic actually comes together nicely with that. Because you know how Pep sent Joe Hart out to loan, right, at Torino?
Yes.
Well, there's rumors saying that, how Pep doesn't want Joe Hart to be there at Man City anymore because, he just doesn't think that he's a quality player. So the rumors is that Joe Hart might stay at Torino on a permanent deal, or if he might be going back to England, who knows? As things are going right now, it's more likely that Pep might just have Joe Hart not play at all if Joe Hart decides to go back to England, because Claudio Bravo, he has him right there. It's ridiculous. It just might be another head-to-head clash like Pep and Zlatan won back in Barcelona. Who knows?
Pep kind of got a reputation, I think, for being a cutthroat type guy. Make no mistakes about it. And I don't think it's good when people get that type of reputation because sometimes they tend to bask in it, and sometimes they prefer to overextend it in a way.
Yeah.
I think if you ever have a friend and you give him a reputation, maybe as a fast eater, right?
Yeah.
And this guy eats fast, man. This guy eats fast, and sometimes you can notice he's like forcefully eating fast. People get this reputation, and they enjoy it. They find it cool, and they want to keep it.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought the way he handled Joe Hart was extremely unprofessional. He knew going into that job that he didn't want Joe Hart to be his keeper. That wasn't news to him, okay? And the fact that he then started Caballero over him as well was insulting.
Yeah.
Joe Hart is a better keeper than Caballero. I don't care what the hell Pep thinks.
Yeah.
Joe Hart is a better keeper. So then for him to be forced out on loan last minute to a club like Torino, who, in all fairness to Torino, they're not challenging for anything in Italy. And you look at a guy like Joe Hart, all he's known is England.
For sure.
He 100% doesn't speak Italian. You probably forced his family to make a move. I think it was horrible. And I think it was disgusting, in all honesty.
Yeah.
I think it was wrong what he did. I anticipate Joe Hart making a move back to England, and I think that a club like Swansea, that we mentioned, who could use a veteran presence like that, especially if they're going to try to battle relegation,
For sure.
is a great shout. If he ends up staying at Torino for the length of this season, then we mentioned, I think, in Newcastle, when I believe that they will be coming up from the championship and coming back.
Right, yeah.
And if Rafa Benitez doesn't feels like he needs an upgraded keeper but doesn't want to spend a ton, I think Joe Hart could make some sense there as well. Listen, is Joe Hart the world's best keeper? No.
I don't know.
But he's won the Premier League before.
But he is England's best keeper.
And listen, he is a veteran presence. And, I don't care what the sport is. You need guys like that in your locker room.
For sure.
You need that. The guy who's been there, done that. And Joe Hart has been on the biggest stages. Now, and you could maybe say, there's some spots where he fell up. He had a really bad Euros. And I think that has a lot to do with the fact that Pep moved him out. But ultimately, I think Joe Hart finds his way back. I think that he still brings a lot to a club. And I wish him well in his return back to England. That I do anticipate. If he likes it over in Torino and he's happy there, then good for him, man. Good for him.
For sure. Yeah. Honestly, we'll see what happens because, like you said, it was pretty messed up of Pep, doing that because Joe Hart literally Man City's backline, wall, for many years. But who knows? We'll see what happens. But anyways, we'll take a quick break right now and we'll be back.